Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be reacting to an Actman video talking about Palworld. Now over on my gaming channel I've been playing Palworld quite a bit. It's basically the only thing I stream right now and I am in love with the game. It's fun. Is it the greatest game ever made? No, it has a lot of problems and a lot of issues. But I mean it's addictive and it's fun. And just like 7 Days to Die is one of my favorite games that I love to play, and I've been playing for years and years and hours. People ask me like, "Oh man, you play a lot of 7 Days to Die. Is it a good game?" And I'm like, I mean, I wouldn't say that, but it's fun, which is at the end of the day the most important part because you can have a game that has problems and issues and glitches and all that kind of stuff like that, and still have it be a really fun game. And a lot of issues with a lot of AAA developers is they are releasing these super high fidelity, on paper, should be a good game based on all these checkboxes that we checked off, but the game isn't fucking fun. Period. Like, all metrics say that this game should be a good game, but it's not fun, so who cares? You know what I mean? But Palworld has they have exploded in popularity, and I like the Act Man. I watch a lot of his content, so let's see what he has to say about it.
If you've been on the internet in the last couple of weeks, you've no doubt heard about Palworld. Check this out.
What the fuck?
Yo, look at me, dude. I can pick up a fucking dig toys. I can even jump with.
Dude, it is hilarious how your characters can just casually pick up literally everything in this game. Like, no matter how big, they just, with no effort at all. And you can even climb. I found out recently you can climb walls while carrying these gigantic freaking pals, man. It's insane.
Why is Palworld so popular? And awesome. I've compiled 8 reasons why in this very video. Reason number 1, word of mouth. Palworld's popularity has surprised everyone, especially its developers, who apparently were considering bankruptcy if the game didn't sell well. I don't think they have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, that's not really a concern for them at the moment. And so far, I have to say, man, with the updates and the way that they're responding to feedback and stuff like that, man, I have high hopes for this game. It's already really addictive and it just came out. Games like 7 Days to Die, for example, Ark, and all these games have been out for anywhere from 5 to 10 plus years now, and early access and all that crap. And look where those games are now. So just imagine, like 3 years from now, just 1 year, where this game is going to be or what it could transform into in that time. If they really stay dedicated. I don't know how you could make this much money and this many sales on a game like this and not stay dedicated to making sure you do everything to make it successful. But, I mean, stranger things have happened. They could fumble it. It would be absolutely baffling if they did, but it could happen.
Okay, yeah, come up here.
Oh, what in the world?
See these chickens?
What chicken? Oh my god, they're dead. Holy shit.
You know what, man? I still have not unlocked a lot of the guns for the PAL specifically. I don't know what the hell I've been waiting for. I've been playing this game for like 200 hours. I still haven't unlocked the Mosanda thing, the freaking rocket launcher for the Relaxosaurus. There's so many things that I still haven't even tried. There's no reason that I haven't done it. I just haven't.
Hitting over 2 million concurrent players on Steam.
It's impossible!
That is second only to PUBG, the game that arguably popularized the entire battle royale genre. That's more concurrent players than Counter-Strike, fucking Counter-Strike, has ever had. What is happening? Do you understand how crazy this is?
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. Like, it just thinking about the type of numbers that this game pulled. And it's so crazy because, like, obviously everybody has preferences. Like, everybody likes certain things. Some people don't like other things. It is what it is. There's always going to be, like, contrarians and people who want to go against the grain. What do they call them? Hipsters or whatever, who are just like, this thing is popular, therefore I hate it. Like, people like this thing, so because I have to be different and unique, I don't like this thing. No, I've never tried it. No, I've never seen any gameplay footage, nor do I ever plan on playing it. But here's my full opinion on the quality of this game. Because, you know, that's just how people are for some reason. And that's not saying there's no reason not to like the game. But there's no way that this game sells this many copies this quickly and becomes this viral because it's garbage. And there are people out here who are genuinely like, this game is absolute garbage. It's just bullshit. The people don't know what they actually want or whatever. And I'm like, you're delusional. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just, it is what it is. Like, saying this game is objectively terrible just because it's popular and you don't like the fact that it's popular. I mean, it is what it is. If you don't like it, that's fine. But you don't get to speak for the 19 million people who bought and are playing and enjoying the game. Sorry, it's just not how it works.
That a random indie developer can come out with a creature catching game that rivals that of the largest media franchise of all time. It can even keep up with it in sales, relatively. Reason number 2, why Palworld is so popular. This is an easy one. It's a damn good video game. Palworld is like Cell. It combines the...
Which is the most important part, by the way. It's just fun. It's a fun game. It has an addictive gameplay loop, and they have a lot of reasons and incentives to keep you in it. I do hear a lot of people saying that somewhere along the line, after you get rid of the initial, or after you get past the initial beginning of the game, where things are kind of brand new and stuff, you hit this kind of lull where you're trying to level up and stuff. But there are so many ways to efficiently and effectively level up in this game if you know what you're doing. Like, you could bypass that no problem. And I feel like every game hits that point. Once you kind of get out of the honeymoon phase after you've played for a few hours, then you start to realize that, you know, it's going to take some time for you to get where you want to go and to figure more things out, how to level up more efficiently. But it's a good game.
There's an element of Dark Souls with timed dodges and this sick-ass butterfly twist, by the way.
What the fuck was that?
That's like the Darth Maul butterfly kick. Yeah, you...
Oh shit!
Hey.
Who are you?
I think I played this game for like, I think I was probably like 50 hours in before I realized that you can do that little cartwheel dodge or whatever. Like, as a matter of fact, I think I spent the first 20 hours not dodging at all. Like, not ever even hitting the dodge button. I don't know how I managed to pull that off. But then aiming and dodging at the same time is how you pull that off. And it just wasn't clicking to me. Because I was mainly using the pals to fight. Like, I wasn't really using bows and guns and stuff like that much. Because it didn't really seem like... I didn't invest any points in the strength. So I never felt like I was really doing enough damage for it to matter. Just literally just putting out all this incriminating information about myself. Just voluntarily.
Sure. They even let players make abominations in the character creator. I shit you not, because they said Americans sometimes like to make ugly characters.
I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I like this Blanca thing he got going on here.
Blender and hope it turns out great. Halo 4 taught us that doesn't always pan out well. We've seen plenty of copycat games, right? Doom clones, Halo killers, etc. And most of the time, these games live in the shadow of their inspiration. But we are witnessing something truly magical. Palworld is actually competing with its inspiration. It combines so many different elements of other games that it actually becomes unique, like Cell. For a game that feels like one giant shitpost, Palworld is surprisingly deep.
Here's my problem. My mindset is like, you're a game developer making games for an audience of people who you want to consume your product. These people are basically the gods of your world. They determine whether or not your game succeeds or fails, and then when it comes down to it, they are the end-all be-all on whether or not a game is good. They vote with their wallets. Their money coming to you tells you whether or not you make a good game or not. But instead, these arrogant fucking assholes will sit there and say, No, you don't know what you want. You don't know what's good. We tell you what's good. We tell you what's a quality game. You don't know. So if you go out and you spend all your money on this game, it's just because you're ignorant and you're too stupid to know what a real game is. Our games full of microtransactions and low effort and terrible stories and just weak gameplay mechanics or whatever. That's what you really want. You want to give us as much of your money as possible. You want arbitrary bullshit mechanics that force you into playing a game or kind of imprison you into your game because we lock away certain features and make things much more difficult for you just so we can give you the opportunity to pay for it. That's what you like. That's what you enjoy.
You have all sorts of different passives, positive and negative traits. There's a ton of different moves that pals can learn, which happen in real-time combat instead of turn-based. So like you actually have to aim this shit if you're controlling the pal, which you can control a whole lot of them. The PvP for this game is going to be absolutely wild whenever that comes out. You know,
I am very interested in the prospect of PvP for this game. At the moment, I think it wouldn't really work all that well, just because of the fact that the PAL AI is not optimal. Like, it could definitely be better than it is. They're gonna have to really work on the AI to get PvP to really function properly. I can see a lot of PvP, if it does take place in the near future, I can see a lot of people primarily doing battle on top of their like on things that are mountable. So basically, if you have a pal that's not mountable, chances are it won't be seen in PvP. At least that's the way it's looking like to me, because the pals are kind of unreliable when it comes to just kind of letting them do their thing. But that said, Jesus Christ, that was the loudest car ever. That said, though, I do think that PvP is something that they should absolutely pursue because it'll help in the longevity of the game.
this game is way better than it has any reason to be. And that leads me to reason number 3, the content and polish. This is early access done right.
That is true. This is probably one of the most functional early access games that I've ever played. Like, out of the gate, fresh out of the oven, you know what I mean? There was absolutely problems, for sure. It's early access. And it's kind of weird to me that people know this is early access. They are 100% aware. The game has only been out for a couple weeks now, if that. And people are still like, oh, this game has problems, so it's bad. I'm like, it's fucking... What early access game have you played in the past, 6 to 7 years didn't have any problems at release? Like, almost every game, even AAA games now, full price AAA games have problems at release. And although we shouldn't be condoning or just hand waving and making excuses for it, to act surprised or to say that the fact that this game has some kinks that they need to work out is the mark of it being a bad game is just asinine.
Mechanically, the gameplay is solid, and that's most important. It's a ton of fun battling the pals, catching them in real time, avoiding attacks. Palworld nails the...
It's actually kind of baffling to me that people genuinely unlocked the musket and were actually using it. I literally, as soon as I saw musket, I completely bypassed it and was like, no, I'm not wasting any tech points on that. There's no way. Because I played 7 Days to Die, and I know the horrors of the pipe shotgun, and it is literally, it's not a self-defense weapon. Like, it's basically, I want to make this game much more difficult for myself, and I want to make the zombies have a fair shot at eating me. Essentially, if you use the pipe shotgun, essentially what you're saying is, I like to die in this game.
This is leagues above what most people expect from an early access title. It feels complete in concept, and because of that, I'm not too bothered by the rougher areas of the game. Multiplayer and guilds are a great feature. I played a shitload of Valheim, and just like that, Palworld is something me and the boys are gonna keep playing for a very long time.
Yeah, and that's an important point, is all games have problems at release. Most of them. They have issues and stuff that they have to patch out and fix. 'Tis the nature of games that come out in modern day. It's just kind of the way it is. With internet being pretty much accessible in all these games, they can update it later. So there's not a lot of emphasis on making sure that all the kinks are worked out. It is what it is. But, like I said, if your game is fun, if it is enjoyable, we can overlook some of that stuff. But if your game sucks, and it also has a bevy of problems at release, I mean, people tend to be a lot harsher on it.
There's a few animations that could use some work. All right, check this shit. Check this shit.
Oh no, dude. I at least thought like you'd be on her head or something.
But I'm torn between wanting smooth animations and this janky funny shit.
Maybe you can just lift them up and put them anywhere you want.
That's true. A lot of the weird kind of quirky stuff in this game, like the Mossanda like floating around and like he's basically weightless, so when you like bump into him while he's floating, he just like gets launched off into the atmosphere. Or just some of the weirder stuff in here, the way the pals flop around when you pick them up and stuff. A lot of that stuff is like, this is goofy and really dumb, but I kind of like it though. It's charming to a certain degree. So it's got to be a little bit of jank, you know. Some games are they're a little better for it.
Occasionally you can spawn underneath the map, but any game-breaking glitches I've found can be fixed by quitting and
Look how long it takes to reload that fucking musket, dude. I can't do it. Like, just throw rocks at him at that point, man.
reloading. Another huge issue is things phasing or clipping into the world. The pathing is kind of janky for the pals. They don't always know what to do or where they're going. And the police, yes, there are police in Palworld. This game has a fucking wanted system.
By the gods, there is a psychopath on the loose. Stop! You violated the law. For the Empire! Remember the Am I supposed to be impressed? Should have paid the fine. What's the matter? Getting tired?
If you attack non-
Yeah, the police in this game are a little weird. It kind of reminds me of the early days of Cyberpunk when it came out, how police would literally just materialize wherever you were at the moment. It's not a great feeling. I mean, it's you can get away from them, but it's a little awkward, kind of complicated. Even if you're like flying over the ocean, they literally just teleport next to your bird and then just fall into the water. Very strange, the wanted system. Just the human people and the way they act and interact with stuff is a bit weird in here. Like they did a lot of work on the pals, but a lot of the human stuff in this game is a little iffy. They'll probably end up working on that as time goes on. Ugh.
hostile NPCs, the police will spawn in your anus like they used to in Cyberpunk. They will
I just said that. Okay. Great minds think alike.
One of the greatest features ever in survival games is being able to access all of your stored materials without having them in your inventory. So
you know what though? This right here was something that I couldn't articulate until somebody brought it up. Because there was something about this game in the inventory system that really set itself apart from other games and took away a lot of the tedium that happens in games like 7 Days to Die, Ark, and other games. The fact that your inventory, the stuff that you have in your base, is all universally accessible. It didn't even click that that was even happening, which was weird because I'm so used to the opposite. So excellent feature. That's one of those things, and this is why this game is so popular, because you can tell by the decisions that they made in this game that these people are gamers. They have played several other games like this and they had gripes too, and they said fuck that shit, we're not putting that in our game.
Palworld does the one thing that every video game should strive to do: give you bang for your buck. which is why reason 4, it undercuts the competition. Scarlet and Violet have been out for 14 months and they're still charging $60 for them.
Yeah, they've been out for 14 months and they're still charging $60 for them. And 14 years from now, they'll still be $60. Because Nintendo does not drop their prices for any reason. As a matter of fact, 14 years from now, they'll probably be $90.
Not to mention, there has never been an official Pokemon game released on PC. To be fair, Nintendo doesn't really release games on PC at all, but you would think the largest media franchise of all time would at least try to tap into that market.
No. No. Nintendo is one of the most stubborn and arrogant companies to ever exist. They believe that everything they do is flawless. They believe that all of their things that they make are priceless. And they just have this really high and mighty, we are the kings of gaming type of attitude about everything that they do. There's no way. They don't care. Like, they don't care that PC people want it because Nintendo games belong on Nintendo and Nintendo only. And we don't give a fuck if everybody swears they'll stop playing our games or whatever. Like, we don't care. We don't care what the consequences are. We don't care what people want, what people demand. Our stuff is premium, it's exclusive, and you have to pay top dollar for it all the time.
Mercenary with a wounded knee. I used to be a tough trainer like you. Then I took an attack to the knee from that giant pal. A Skyrim reference in 2024. What year is it? On the surface, Palworld presents it.
That's actually funny. There's a lot of memes like that in this game. There's a dude who apparently got isekai'd to this world. He's like hidden somewhere on one of the islands. There's a bunch of weird references in this game that are really funny.
This island is a living hell. The people I came with aren't with us any longer. Those damned pals ate every one of them. I tried making graves for everyone at first, but when more than 100 died, I gave up on that idea. What the fuck? The tone takes a radical shift towards the macabre at complete random. You know,
Yeah, this game is pretty dark. It can be pretty gruesome sometimes, but that's the appeal, man. That's what makes it so fun.
You don't just fight pals, you can fight real people, and you don't defeat them, you kill them. When I think to myself, what is it about me as a Pokemon fan that is drawn to Palworld? Part of it is the dark undertones of Pokemon that mostly go unaddressed. And this is like a satire of that. On the main menu screen, you've got 2 lamb balls on mounted MG42s. There's a
with like casual smiles on their faces too. They don't have like angry battle faces on. They are smiling like it's just a beautiful Sunday morning as they rain bullets down on the enemy.
Pal called Hang You, which in universe is used to carry out public executions by tearing the skin off of their bones.
Dude, when I read that description, dude, if you have not read the actual description, if you think the Pokedex is crazy, look at the PAL deck. Read some of these freaking things. They are nuts. This one was probably the most shocking to me.
There's an organization called the Free Pal Alliance. We have 5 traditional commandments. Thou must not eat pals. Thou must not overwork pals. Thou must not abuse pals. Thou must not use pals for experiments. Thou must risk thy life to protect pals. And it sounds like a parody of PETA, right? But it's actually an accurate representation of PETA because the Free Pal Alliance can often be seen shooting and murdering pals.
I thought that was hilarious. As soon as I saw the anti PAL people or whatever, I'm just like, oh cool, they got like a faction that's like supposed to be friendly with pals and they protect them. And literally the first group I came across were embroiled in a battle to the death with pals. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Why is this group who has these tenets literally embroiled in battle with every pal in the general area? Which I think is a bit of an oversight. I think it would have been much more cool if this was the only faction that did not actively fight with pals. like in the outside world, which may come later. I haven't read a lot of the lore stuff in this game, but it does seem to be pretty interesting, actually.
Look at the way it fucking walks. Oh my god.
That is main character energy right there. That is main character energy, bro.
Furry bait?
That is. It's absolutely furry bait.
Did you
He's
know
got a big
that
mouth.
in terms of PAL and human breeding?
Stop right there. Okay, you want to see something else?
Let's see.
It is number 69 in the PAL deck.
Of course it is. Oh,
And that was, I'm telling you, I guarantee that was intentional. I promise you. I would bet a large sum of money. I don't have a large sum of money, but I would bet a large sum of money that was 100% intentional. Yeah, this thing has caused a lot of buzz within the Palworld community, and its description ain't doing it no favors either.
Reason number 6, the PALs. We can argue about plagiarism in the various designs and if some of them are stolen ideas or not, which some of them are. Might cover that in a separate video, but most of them are original. And what really sells me on these PALs,
I don't know about most. I'd say about 30%, which might be generous. I'd say probably about 30% of the PALs in this game can be considered to be original if you really want to be charitable. But for the most part, a lot of these PALs are very derivative or have very similar themes to existing Pokemon or other creatures. It kind of is what it is. It's pretty inevitable in some cases. I mean, a wolf is a wolf, a sheep is a sheep. But like some of them are literally just like straight up direct ripoffs. It doesn't really bother me though. Like I don't particularly have a problem with it much at all because I can look at a PAL and I can look at a Pokemon and I can tell you instantly which one is which. It's pretty easy to do that. But I mean, saying that most of them are original, nah, not really. Not really.
I guess I'll just say one of the things I like about this game is you can use your pals for everything you'd want to in a Pokemon game. Where like, you know, instead of clicking to use the move, you like get on the pal and ride them to fly them, or you get on the pal and ride them.
They're
have them
part
use them.
of the world. And
Yeah,
how
they're
you
part of your
interact
kit.
with
Yes. So like the celery you can get, I didn't want to spoil this, but like I think you could literally use them to glide, like as a
Yeah, yeah.
paraglider. Like you can do shit with them that like you wouldn't think of. The millennial.
Yeah, the overall general utility of the PALs in this game is what really sells it for me. Just the fact that they all have these abilities that they can use around the base that are beneficial to your base building and your progression throughout the game. And they do things that normally you would be doing in the beginning, but as you progress through the game, you start to build up this arsenal of PALs that can more efficiently do the tedious shit that you don't want to do. I should be able to just get a Doedicurus, tame it, and be like, dude, get rocks. And that's what he should just do. You shouldn't have to finagle anything or try to lock him or put him in some kind of enclosure. And maybe if he gets close enough to a rock, he should hit it. If his job is to gather rocks and that's what he's good at, then you should be able to tame one, set him to gather rocks, and that's what the fuck he should do. But you can't do that in Arc. Unless you try to finagle it or do something weird. Like, you can't just set him to gathering rocks in the area. And even when they do have that setting available, it doesn't even work.
111 PALs, all designed with a unique ability. They all have unique animations for a variety of tasks. Some of them have exclusive moves and animations for that too, you know? The personality conveyed through these animations is what sells you on Palworld.
That is true. Almost every PAL in here has their own specific and unique animations for certain things. And you can tell, like, they really put work into it when it comes to the crafting and the gathering. All of their tools are appropriate sizes when they're mining and stuff like that. And it just, you can tell, like I said, somebody really put their heart and soul into this game. And as a gamer, and who's been gaming for a really long time, you can tell when you're playing a game if it was made by people who also play games. And then you can tell when you play a game that's made by people who are instructed to just make a game. You know what I mean? you can tell that there were certain things that they just didn't think about. And also you can tell that a game is played by the people who made it based on the decisions that they make, which is a huge problem in Diablo 4. Like, there are certain people within the company who you can tell based on how they talk about the game and how they discuss problems in the game that they play it. And then there are other people who they have talk about or discuss the game. I'm like, you don't even fucking, you've never even played, you helped make this game, sure, but there's no way you've even touched this game based on the type of shit that you say about it.
Yo, it does have a hat. It has a hat too. That's fucking Murkrow. Yo, that's actually Murkrow.
Okay, that's the first one I've seen that I've actually gone, alright, that's a little sus.
Yeah, a crow with a hat, it is a little sus.
What? What are they talking? That's an owl. That is clearly an owl. Like, that's not. His name is Hoocrates. Like hoot, like an owl. What?
From Pokemon.
Hold on.
Where's Murkrow?
Dude, that is the most owl. Like, it actually kind of looks more like a penguin than an owl, but it doesn't look anything like a crow. Like, there is nothing about this that says it's a crow other than the fact that it's black. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. They were on drugs when they saw this thing. Actman, what the fuck, dude? This looks nothing like a crow. What are you talking about?
We got birds
Nah,
now,
yeah,
bro.
yo, it does have a hat. It has a hat too. That's fucking Murkrow. Yo, that's actually Murkrow.
Okay, that's the first one I've seen that I've actually gone, alright, that's a little sus.
Yeah, a crow with a hat, it is a little sus.
Man, I'm sorry. I generally agree with a lot of stuff the Actman says, but I don't know how the fuck he looked at that thing and said, this is a crow. I can't even fathom. His name, the way he looks, the white part on his stomach, almost everything about that creature indicates that it is either an owl or some form of penguin. Like, but, you know, all right.
But if you think Nintendo or Game Freak or the Pokemon Company is going to sue Palworld and its developers, they had a couple years to do that. They're not going to. And if they can take down this Pokemon mod for Palworld, why wouldn't they just take down Palworld? Reason number 8. This is the last one.
Yeah, that's one thing that it always still baffles me. Like, there was already tons of evidence to say that Pokemon or company or Nintendo or whatever wasn't going to be doing anything about Palworld. If you have critical thinking skills and thought about it for more than 3 seconds, like it's not even really a discussion. It's like, if they would have, and if they could have, then they would have done it already. This is Nintendo. Like, there is no doubt in our minds, if they could have shut this game down, they would have absolutely done it without hesitation. So the fact that this is even a discussion is interesting, and to put it in a nice way to me.
I say with absolute 100% certainty that Scarlet and Violet are the worst Pokemon games in the entire franchise, spin-offs included, and they're the best selling. Palworld has innovated the
And that's the problem. That's like the major issue right now, and that's how these developers and stuff have gotten to this point of arrogance, because they have been able and permitted to put out absolute fucking garbage and sell it like hotcakes, because people don't like to admit this, and a lot of people get upset when I say this, but gaming becoming mainstream was a double-edged sword. And we are outnumbered now. All the people who enjoyed games back then and who care about the quality and all that stuff, we're outnumbered now. They're not catering to us anymore. And this is why the games industry is in shambles right now. Same thing with anime. Anime to a much lesser extent, though. Just a lot of media. You know, as soon as it becomes mainstream and the people who care become outnumbered, that's it. All bets are off.
Pokemon is the most static, lazy, apathetic franchise in gaming.
Oh, look, there's a crow. Look, Actman, look, it's a crow. You see that crow right there? Okay, let me stop.
The status quo and quality of the Pokemon franchise has gotten so abysmally low that I've gotten to the point where I'm secretly rooting for its downfall. I don't want to secretly root for its downfall, but I feel compelled to, given the complete lack of effort Game Freak and the Pokemon Company.
Yeah, man. And it's the same for a lot of people, man. And you don't want to be that cynical person. You don't want to be on the bandwagon of hate just because that's what a lot of people assume, you know. Oh, these angry gamers, they just want to hate things just to hate them. It's like, no. There again, the newest Pokemon game that came out, I promise you, all the people who made these hate videos about it, talking about how terrible it is, they would have been much happier making videos talking about how awesome it was. But it's not awesome. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, sure, Palworld was optimized for more powerful hardware than the Switch, but Tears of the Kingdom, Xenoblade, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Pikmin 4, Breath of the Wild, there's tons of examples of amazing looking games on the Switch. The hardware is clearly capable of it. It's just that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company don't give a shit.
Because they don't have to. And that's the thing, too, you know? That's one of the Pokemon fanboys' his favorite argument. It's just the fucking hardware is not. I'm like, they make the hardware. Nintendo makes the hardware. They work very closely with the Pokemon Company in order to make these games out. They just don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care because you're still gonna buy it. And you're still going to make excuses for them. Why should they have to put any effort into their games if they're going to make money anyway?
A lot of fans praised Legends Arceus and hoped that would be the next direction for the series, but it wasn't. No, it was the same regurgitated, stale formula. Isn't it?
Yeah, I genuinely thought that Arceus was going to actually switch up the formula. Like, from the way they presented that game, they made it look like they were going to really try to implement players into the battles and stuff like that. But no, it was the same old bullshit. And it looked like absolute garbage. I'm sorry, but Pokemon Arceus was one of the worst looking modern Pokemon games I've ever seen. That game looks like trash. It's actually kind of embarrassing.
Meanwhile, Game Freak is removing difficulty options that have existed since Gen 1. They actually force the easy mode on you through XP share. It's just, Pokemon should have a difficulty setting. I don't want this to be like Diablo 3 and 4 where I have to beat the game to fucking be challenged by it.
You know what? The XP share thing is kind of interesting too because, like, obviously it was kind of tedious. If you wanted to level up other Pokemon or whatever, you use the XP share, you put it on the specific Pokemon you wanted to level up, and you would use that Pokemon. And some people would argue because it took so much to train individual Pokemon, it would prevent you from using other Pokemon. But in a weird twist of fate, in a weird kind of we're kind of back where we started situation, the XP share still in a weird way prevents you from using those other Pokemon. Because for me, if I didn't actively participate in the leveling up of a Pokemon in any way, say for example, you know, I had like a Caterpie that I caught a long time ago, and now this Caterpie is a Metapod, and now it's a Butterfree, but I have never once used it in battle, like not a single time. I've never swapped to it or whatever. It's just been in my party and has evolved all this time. I don't feel a connection to that Pokemon at all. Like, it feels weird using it. I'm like, whose fucking Butterfree is this? It's not mine. Like, I didn't train this thing. It just followed me around and just happened to get some XP. You know what I mean? And it actually incentivized me more to just use the one Pokemon that I wanted to use, or the few Pokemon that I wanted to use, because all of them were going to get XP anyway. So it kind of had the opposite effect.
And despite taking inspiration from every other game imaginable, Palworld manages to feel fresh and original. It's such a bizarre game, you have to tell your friends about it and spread the game through word of mouth. I am excited for the future of Palworld. I hope this game continues for a long time. I hope it becomes a regular series if it maintains this level of quality. And I especially hope this makes Game Freak and the Pokemon Company get off their fat, lazy asses and start making at least half the...
No. You know what? I got high hopes for Palworld too. I'm excited to see where this game is going to be in a couple years, maybe a year or two, just to see how far they take it, how much effort they put into making this game better. But I have zero, literally zero hope that Pokemon will change their tune and be like, you know what, we need to learn from this and we need to do better. I'm 100% sure, 1,000% sure that the people at the Pokemon Company are just like, please, this game is garbage. You guys don't know any better. This is just a fake imitation of what we can deliver to you. And they are going to proceed to deliver the next series of Pokemon games, and they are going to be just as trash as the previous iterations were, if not worse, just to fucking spite gamers, just to be like, look, we're gonna make our next game even worse, just to prove to you that we can still crush the numbers of this game. We're going to make it even worse. We're going to take away features. We're going to remove Pokemon. We're going to take away fundamental nostalgic things about Pokemon that make it Pokemon. We're going to literally gut the fucking game. And I promise you, you fucking drones are going to buy it up. You're going to buy all the copies, and we're going to make record sales just like we usually do. That's what I think is going to happen. But only time will tell.
But what do you think? Are there any reasons for Palworld's success and popularity that I didn't mention here? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Pal Man for more awesome content.
All right, and that was another Actman video. I think he was pretty much on point with a lot of his stuff. Really good video. Link's going to be down in the description if you guys want to check out the entire thing yourself, because obviously I cut some stuff out to be more concise. If you want to see the full video, like I said, link's going to be down below. And have a wonderful day, guys. Thanks for watching.